Hi, I'm Sandra, a 32-year-old marketing executive. For the longest time, I believed I had it all: a successful career, a beautiful home, and what I thought was a perfect marriage. My husband, John, and I had been together for 5 years, and I truly thought we were living the dream. Can you believe it's already been 5 years? I asked one evening, nestled against him on the couch. He smiled, kissed my forehead, and said, "Time flies when you're having fun, right?" But behind that warm smile were secrets I never could have imagined. We met in a coffee shop, a total rom-com cliché, I know. He was charming, successful, and seemed to adore me. After dating for a year, he proposed, and I felt like the luckiest woman alive. "Sandra, you're glowing." My best friend, Hazel, exclaimed at our wedding. "You and John are perfect together." I beamed, so full of love. "I know, right? I can't wait to start our life together," I said with all the confidence of someone truly in love. Fast forward to today, and we were making plans to buy our dream home and start a family. Everything seemed to be falling into place. "So, what do you think about this neighborhood?" I asked as we drove through a lovely suburban area. John looked around, a bit distracted. "It's nice, but maybe we should look at more options." I should have noticed the signs back then. The secretive phone calls, the way he changed the subject whenever I brought up finances. But love can be so blinding. And then there was his mother, Karen. Where do we even start? "John, darling, I need you to come over right away," I heard her say on the phone one day. She made it sound like an emergency, but when he arrived, it turned out to be a broken nail. "Your mother called you over for a broken nail?" I asked, incredulous. John just shrugged. "You know how she is. She needs me." I tried to be understanding, but Karen always seemed to demand his attention, and he always gave it, no questions asked. I attempted to carve out time just for us. "Maybe we could have dinner, just the two of us, this weekend," I suggested. "Oh, I promised Mom we'd help her redecorate," John replied casually. "Next weekend, though." But next weekend never seemed to come. At work, things felt different. I felt in control, respected. One day, my colleague Jake noticed my distraction. "Sandra, are you okay? You seem distant," he said with genuine concern. I forced a smile. "Just a bit tired, thanks for asking." If only I'd known then what I know now. The perfect illusion I'd been living was about to shatter. I was at work when my phone rang. It was the bank. Odd, I thought. We never got calls from them. "Mrs. Thompson, we're calling to verify a large withdrawal from your joint savings account," the banker said. My stomach dropped. "I'm sorry, what withdrawal?" "A transfer of $50,000 was made yesterday. We just wanted to confirm it was authorized." It felt like the ground beneath me vanished. "I didn't authorize that," I stammered, my mind racing. There had to be a mistake. As soon as I hung up, I called John. No answer. I texted him, "We need to talk now." I couldn't concentrate on work. My thoughts were a mess. Jake noticed immediately. "Sandra, you look pale. Everything okay?" he asked with concern. I shook my head, feeling the weight of it all. "I don't know, Jake. I really don't know." When I got home, John was there, looking tense. "What's going on with our savings?" I demanded. He tried to play innocent. "What do you mean?" "Don't lie to me, John. The bank called." "Where's our money?" he stammered, searching for words. I could explain. Then explain. Now. After what felt like an eternity of excuses, he finally admitted it. "I gave it to my mom, for her surgery." "Surgery? What surgery?" His voice dropped. "She wanted a facelift." I exploded. "A facelift? Are you kidding me? We've been saving for our future, and you gave half of it to your mom for a facelift." "She needed it, Sandra. You don't understand." "You're right, I don't understand. How could you do this without talking to me?" The argument raged for hours, each revelation worse than the last. I learned he'd been secretly sending money to his mom for years, always putting her needs first. "Remember when we couldn't go on that vacation?" I asked. "Was that because you gave our money to her too?" His silence was all the answer I needed. Desperate, I called Hazel, sobbing. "Can I come over? I can't be here right now." At Hazel's, I finally let my emotions flood out. I thought I knew him, Hazel. How could I have been so blind? "Oh, honey," she said, hugging me tightly. "This isn't your fault." The next day, I went through her financial records, and it was worse than I'd feared. John had been siphoning money from our accounts for years. When I confronted him again, he begged for forgiveness. "I'll make it right, Sandra. I promise. Just give me another chance. But something inside me had broken. The trust was shattered. I need time to think, I told him. I'm staying with Hazel for a while. As I packed my bags, John kept pleading. We can work this out. I love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this, I said, tears brimming in my eyes. As I walked out the door, I realized this wasn't just about money. It was about years of lies and always coming second to his mother. I didn't know if I'd ever be able to trust him again. I spent the next few days at Hazel's trying to make sense of everything. My phone was flooded with messages from John, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. One morning over coffee, Hazel asked, "Have you talked to him?" I shook my head. I can't, not yet. That afternoon, I met with a divorce lawyer just to understand my options. Given the financial deception, you have a strong case, she assured me. As I left her office, my phone buzzed. Another message from John. Please, Sandra, let's talk. I'll do anything. I ignored it, only to receive another message minutes later, this time from Karen. Sandra, dear. John's beside himself. We need to sort this out as a family. Family, I muttered bitterly. Some family. At work, I tried to keep it together, but Jake could tell something was wrong. Sandra, I don't need to pry, but if you need to talk. I hesitated, then found myself telling him everything. As I talked, his expression grew more concerned. Sandra, he said slowly, there's something you should know. I overheard some executives talking. John's position. It's not what he's told you. My heart sank. What do you mean? Jake explained that John had been lying about his job title and salary. He was in a much lower position than he'd claimed. I felt sick. More lies. That evening, I received a call from John's company. They were conducting an internal investigation and wanted to speak with me. Mrs. Thompson, we've uncovered some discrepancies in your husband's accounts, the investigator said. Discrepancies. Such a clean word for such a mess. As I cooperated with the investigation, the full truth came out. John and Karen had been running a small-scale Ponzi scheme, using my money to cover their tracks. I confronted John one last time in a quiet cafe. How could you? I asked, my voice barely steady. I never meant for it to go this far, he pleaded. Mom needed help, and then it just spiraled. And you didn't think to come to me, your wife? He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. I'll fix this, Sandra. We can start over. I stood up. No, John, we can't. As I turned to leave, I saw Karen entering the cafe, her face a mask of panic. John, what have you done? She shrieked. They're saying it's fraud. I watched as John tried to calm her, but she was hysterical. This is all your fault, she yelled. I told you to be more careful. In that moment, seeing them turn on each other, I realized how toxic they both were. I walked out, leaving them to their mess. Back at Hazel's, I made my decision. I called my lawyer. I want to file for divorce, I said, my voice steady. As I hung up, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The life I thought I had was gone, but maybe, just maybe, I could build something better from the ashes. Little did I know, karma was about to hit John and Karen harder than they'd ever anticipated. The divorce proceedings were brutal, but I stood my ground. John tried everything, tears, promises, and even roping Karen into a staged apology, but I was done. I trusted you, John, and you broke that trust, I told him during our final meeting. He begged, please, Sandra, one more chance. I shook my head. No, it's over. With the divorce finalized, I threw myself into my work, focusing on rebuilding my life. My boss noticed my dedication. Sandra, how would you feel about heading our new marketing division? She asked one day. I was stunned. Are you serious? Absolutely. You've earned it, she said with a proud smile. Settling into my new role, I realized something. I was happier than I'd been in years. No more walking on eggshells. No more lies. One evening, as I was leaving the office, Jake caught up with me. Hey Sandra, want to grab a coffee? For the first time in months, I felt a genuine smile form on my face. You know what? I'd love to. Over coffee, Jake and I talked about everything and nothing. It felt natural. Meanwhile, John's life was unraveling. His fraud had been exposed publicly, leading to his arrest. Through the grapevine, I heard that Karen had been shunned by her social circles. Hazel called me with the news one afternoon. Did you hear? John's going to trial. I sighed, feeling a sense of finality. I heard. It's crazy to think about. How do you feel about it? She asked. Honestly, relieved. It feels like the last piece of that life is finally gone. With my new salary and the settlement from the divorce, I bought my dream home, the one John and I had once talked about. Sitting in the empty living room with the keys in my hand, I felt a surge of pride. This was mine. I had done this on my own. I decided to throw a housewarming party to celebrate. As I looked around at my friends, Hazel, Jake, and my colleagues, I felt surrounded by people who truly cared. Jake raised his glass to new beginnings. Everyone cheered. In the background, the TV showed a news report. Former software engineer John Thompson was sentenced today for his role in a fraudulent investment scheme. I tuned it out. That was the past. This was my future. Later, as the party wound down, Jake helped me clean up. "So, Miss Big Shot Marketing Director, how does it feel?" he teased. I laughed. "Pretty damn good, actually." A comfortable silence settled between us, and then, with a bit of hesitation, he asked, "Sandra, would you like to go out sometime? You know, like on a real date?" I felt a flutter in my stomach. You know what? I think I'd like that. As I fell asleep that night in my new home, I reflected on the journey, the pain, the betrayal, the growth. I was stronger now, more fulfilled. And while John and Karen faced the consequences of their actions, I was free. The next morning, I woke up early, made myself a cup of coffee, and stood by the window watching the sunrise. A new day, a new life, and this time, it was all mine. So now, I have a question for you. If you discovered your partner had been secretly funneling money to their family for years, could you ever trust them again, or would that be an absolute deal breaker? Share your thoughts in the comments below.